Hey everyone, hope all of you are doing great and just watch what you're going to build in this video. And after this short intro, we're going to talk about the architecture of this project, that how you can transfer fund with three different methods. So just watch it.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Now let's talk about the ways we're going to use to transfer fund from one account to other. Okay, so what are the ways we have to do that? So the first we have is without interaction of the smart contract. Okay, I'll show you how you can do it without interaction of the smart contract. The second way we have with the smart contract, in that we're going to store all the information about the users, and then we can easily able to render in our front-end application. And in the third part, we're going to talk about that which method you should use. Okay, what are the Solidity method you should apply for transferring from one account. Okay, so prevent hacking, because security is very important. You will have a lot of fund in your account, so you want to prevent that. So what Solidity method you should call on your smart contract, so stop re-entrancy attack. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. So these are the three methods we're going to cover in this video. Hope you will learn a lot of things. So here I'm into my main project directory, and I'm going to add this functionality into our NFT marketplace. Okay, so if you want to create this functionality separately, you can do the same thing exactly. Okay, not a big deal in that. Just follow the first video, in that I have explained that how you can install the dependency and how you can install the smart contract dependency. Okay, so I'm not going to cover that because it's a unnecessary repetitive thing. Okay, so I'm going to add the same functionality into our existing application, NFT marketplace. So if you are new and watching this video for the very first time, must tell you to watch. It's a 90 hours long video. In that we have built the NFT marketplace smart contract, and we have connected. Okay, so I will list the playlist and the complete project in the icon on the description, so you guys can follow that. Okay, so here you will find all the projects. So we have the NFT marketplace template, smart contract API which we are working on, and we have also connected the smart contract with the front-end application. So all the repo you will find here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a separate copy of this NFT connecting smart contract. Okay, because in that we're going to add the functionality. So you can see all these folders you have. I'm going to simply copy of this. Okay, because that one is the full functionality one we have connected our smart contract, and then we're going to write the smart contract for this transfer function as well. Okay, so let me change this name to transfer, let's say transfer. Okay, and again I'm telling you, if you're watching this for the very first time, these will not make sense. So make sure you check the other videos in which I have covered about this, the template design, the smart contract, so it will make sense. So here you will find all the project, all the folder and file structure which we have already built. Okay, so this is nothing new to all of you guys. Now the very first thing we want to do is I'm going to create one more page, and this page will call transfer fund. Okay, so from where we'll allow user to transfer fund from one account to the other account. Okay, so let's simply create a new file, new page here. Okay, so let's click on this and we have to call this transfer fund .js. Okay, so this is our JS JavaScript file. Simply type RFC, simply copy and paste here. So that's the transfer fund we have, and now we have to create the CSS file for this as well. So we'll say transfer funds .modules.css. Okay, so that's the CSS file we have. So we have this true file in which we're going to write our code. But before we start working on the template, okay, in the fund transfer template, we have to start working on the smart contract. Okay, so first we'll build the smart contract, then we'll move to the JSX, and then we'll move to the styling part. Okay, so hope this will make sense. So let's come back to the contract, and we have to create one more contract, and the name of the contract, I would say that transfer fund.sol. Okay, so we're going to write this Solidity smart contract, and this is the NFT Marketplace smart contract which we have already built. So if you haven't watched, again I'm telling you that there is a complete tutorial on this. Make sure to follow this. So this is all the functionality we have written, and let's simply copy this portion because this is what we have to get from here, and that's the same thing we have to paste here. So that's what I have here. You can see now we can start working on the transfer fund. Okay, so I really want to thank JavaScript Mastery because he make amazing tutorial. He has a lot of amazing tutorial, and the structure I have found, it is the best. So I thought that let's follow the same structure. So make sure if you haven't watched his YouTube channel, make sure visit. He's shared amazing content there. Okay, so I'm going to follow the same structure because that is very easy to read. Okay, and although it's a very small piece of code we have to write for transferring the funds, so I thought that this is the way we should go with. Okay, so I'm going to follow this exact thing, or we can follow the other, like the NFT Marketplace smart contract structure we have followed. We can follow that as well, but I'm going to follow his structure. Okay, so here what we have here, that's looking good, and I'm going to take this contract and we'll call it, let's say, transfer fund. We have to take a variable called unt, and this will call transfer count, so this will keep all the track of transfer. Okay, this is the transfer count. Now we have to build the event, so this will call transfer event, and in that we have to define things. So it's going to be address, it will be a receiver, and we have to take this unt amount, and we have to take this string which is the message. Okay, and the final one is going to be, let's say, timestamp. Okay, so we can also get the timestamp of the transaction. Okay, so this is nothing new to you guys. You already know this event function. So these are the event we have created. So whenever any transaction will happen, this event will trigger and it will add it on the blockchain. Okay, now let's come here, let's create the struct. So we'll call it transfer fund struct. Okay, and in that we have to define all the properties. So we need the address, which is a sender who's sending the ether. We have to take the address of the receiver, and now we have to take the amount, that how much amount he is sending. Now we have to take the string, which is the message, and now we can take the time. Okay, so this property is available on the block timestamp. Okay, so everything will make sense. So this is our struct we have working fine. Now we come here and we're going to create this array. We'll call it transfer, let's say, transfer fund struct. Okay, and we'll call it transaction. Okay, so this is the array we have created. You have multiple options. You can take a mapping and you can store in that, but this is the cleanest way to add the data. Okay, because I don't want to create too much complicated. I just want to keep things simple. There is a lot of way you can write code. Instead of this, you can use mapping, which we have already done in the past. Okay, so here we're going to create a function and we'll call it add data to blockchain. Okay, so this will allow us to add the data to the blockchain whenever any transaction will happen. So you have noticed one thing, when I was showing the demo, we were having two authentications. So one, when we are clicking for the transfer funds, we are getting a pop-up message from the MetaMask and we are confirming the transaction. So as soon as the transaction is getting confirmed, we are triggering our contract, and then we are adding that data to the blockchain, so you can have two different authentication. Okay, so that is a very cool thing. So here we have that functionality. Here we're going to take this one, and it will take couple of properties. Okay, it will receive couple of properties, so it will have the address, it will have payable, and this will call the receiver, the one who's sending. And we'll take this unt, we'll take this amount, and we have to take this string, which is a memory, the message. So these are the three data we're going to pass inside this function, so we can keep the track of it. Okay, so that's the function we have. It's going to be a public, so anybody can call it. Let's come here, and here we're going to write all the logic. So first, what we're going to do, we'll take this transaction count and we're going to make it 1. So whenever any transaction will happen, this number will keep increasing. Okay, and now we have to take this transaction, the array, and we're going to push all the data. Okay, so in that we have our struct. So this is the struct we have, and we're going to update all the data inside this. So we have message.sender, we have the receiver, not double E, it's a single E. Receiver, we have the amount, we have the block timestamp, and that's the 4 argument we are passing inside the struct. Okay, I think I'm missing something. Oh, we are getting an error. So what else we are missing? We are missing the, let's say, this is the push method we have by thread. So it's a 4 argument by need 5. Okay, we are missing message. So these are the struct. We are updating all the data whenever someone make the transaction. So that's happening. Now we have to trigger the event. So the name we have given is this transfer event, and in that we have to define the exact property which we have defined in our events. Okay, receiver, amount, message, and block timestamp. So these are the 5 data we are passing in the event. So that's pretty cool, and that's it for the add to the blockchain. So this function will, whenever any transaction will happen, this function will add this data to the blockchain, so anybody can check. Now let's come here. Now we have to write, let's say, one more function to get the all transaction. Okay, so in this, what we're going to do, make it public view and return, and we want to return the entire struct in the form of array, so memory. And so that's what we have, and now we're going to return the transaction. So in this way, we can easily able to get all the transaction which is happening and which is stored inside this transfer funds struct. Okay, so hope this makes sense. So let's come down, we'll take this fund and we'll say get transaction count. So this function will allow us to get the number of transaction which happening. Okay, so that's what we're going to take it, public view return, and it's going to be a unt type, and we're going to return the, let's say, return the transaction count. Okay, so that's looking fine, and these are the things we have to need in our smart contract for transfer. Okay, so you have seen that we have written a basic simple smart contract which keep only data, which keep all the data about the transaction. Okay, later I will show you that how you can use the Solidity method to do the transfer with the help of Solidity. Okay, so we're going to cover that part as well. So this is the simple smart contract we have written. It's keep all the data for the transaction. Okay, so hope so far whatever I have done, it's clear to all of you guys. And again, I'm telling you, if you are new to this, make sure to watch the other videos where I have watch the playlist. I have the complete playlist. Make sure you save that playlist and you can go through that. You will have a complete understanding. Okay, so that's what we have here. Now what we can do, we have written all the functionality for this. Now come here, and now we can simply go back to this. Let's say where we are here, let's come back to the deploy, and here we have to write the script for the deploying that particular contract we have created. Okay, so here we have the NFT Marketplace smart contract deployment script. Now we're going to simply replicate it and we're going to turn it to the transfer. Okay, so let's give me this command, transfer funds, and here I'm going to change the name. So what the name I have called, this is transfer fund. I'm going to simply copy, and I'm going to replace this, and here I have to replace, and here I'm going to replace this one as well, and we'll make it small t. So this is the transfer fund script. Now what I'm going to do, I need to console log out the address, so simply replicate it. So I need the address for both NFT smart contract and the transfer fund. Okay, simply copy this one and paste it here. So that's the deploy script which we have here. Now this looking perfect. Simply come here, and now let's try to deploy the contract. Okay, so you guys know how to deploy it very easily. Make sure to make a 2 terminal, and first we have to start the local blockchain. So we'll type, let's say, npm run, so npx hardhat node. Okay, this is the command we have to run. Hit enter. This will initialize the local blockchain, and just wait. local blockchain. It's taking a little bit time. Here you can see we got the all account which hardhat provides, so we can utilize it to do the transfer. Okay, so this is the account we're going to use to transfer the fund from this account to the that account. Okay, so it will make sense. And now we have to deploy the contract, so just wait, it's deploying. And here you can see it's compiled successfully, and here we have deployed the contract. So you can see we got the addresses of the contract, which is first one is the NFT marketplace, second one is the transfer. Okay, so we have to simply copy that, and we have to get back to the constant. Okay, so let's come here we have the, where is the constant? So where it is, we have so many folders. So that's the script. Here we have. Okay, simply click on this, and here we're going to add the address of the fund transfer and the ABI. So let's do that very quickly. So what we're going to do is simply I'm going to copy this one, and simply before we do that, and here you can see that the moment you will deploy your contract, it will generate this artifact cache. Okay, so here we have these two folder, NFT marketplace and transfer fund. So right now we have to take this one, drag and drop. Okay, we have already simply delete the old one. Okay, so delete this one and simply drag and drop this new ABI for the NFT marketplace. Simply move it, and we have to do the same thing for the transfer fund. Simply drag and drop here. Okay, so this is the ABI we have here. Now we're going to utilize this, import that. So we'll say transfer funds, and that's coming from the same directory. So that's the folder we have. Simply copy and replicate it, and here we're going to do the changes. So this will become the NFT marketplace, and this has become the, let's say, transfer fund. Okay, hope things are making clear to you. You can import as many like ABIs, as many addresses, right, in one folder, or you can do it in separately. Okay, although it's a very small feature, that's why I'm doing here. Otherwise I would prefer to separate this functionality into a different folder structure. Okay, here we go to do the changes. I'll say transfer and fund address. So here we have the address in the logs. That's what we're going to paste it, and here we're going to do the changes. It's called transfer funds ABI. Okay, so now we have to change the address. So this is the address for the NFT marketplace. Simply copy and replicate. It's the same one, and this is the transfer fund. Simply replace this one, and here we have this ABI. So simply copy this one, and this ABI is coming from this transfer fund. Okay, so that's the setup we have to do in our constant file. So hope so far things are making sense to all of you guys. We have done all the setups. Okay, close all this file and bring the terminal down so we can start working on. Now let's come here, close this one, come back to the, let's come back to this pages, not pages. We can start working on the NFT marketplace context. Okay, so here we are back where we left in the last video when we were working with the NFT marketplace. Okay, so you can see it's already provided to all of you guys. Now what I have to do is, so these are the function is open. Let me close it one by one. Okay, so this is the function we have written: create sales, fetch NFTs, and we have fetch my and buy NFT. So all these function we have. Now let me do this comment. So here I want to tell you one thing. You can either do in the NFT marketplace context, or you can create a separate file for the transfer as well. But although I have to write only 3 functions, so I decided to go here. Otherwise I would prefer to do in a separate way. Okay, so I'm going to write this code right up here. Okay, so that's what I have here. I'm going to take this comment and I'll say, let's say, make it transfer funds. Okay, so this section dedicated to the transfer fund. Hope so far everything is clear to all of you. And now we have to get the function. So this is the function which is connecting the NFT marketplace with the smart contract. Okay, for the NFT marketplace. So this is the one we're going to use it. Simply select and copy it, and simply cut here, copy, sorry, and bring it here. And here we're going to simply try to connect the smart contract of our transfer fund. Okay, so I'm going to simply change the name to this. So I'll say connect to transfer funds. Okay, so this is the name of the function I'm going to give, and here we have to do create a function to which fetch the contract. So you can see this is the function which is written for the fetching the NFT marketplace contract. Now we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so what I have to do, simply come here, we're going to do it right up here. We'll take a contract, we'll call fetch, and we'll say transfer funds contract. Okay, same follow we have to follow. So it's gonna be a signer or provider, so whoever is contracting with this contract. And here we're going to, what I can do, I can simply copy this one because it's the same. Simply copy this one and simply replace this one. So that's the one we have, and here we have to change the ABI and the address. So now we have to go back to the constant, and here we have to get this transfer funds address. Okay, simply here we have to provide, get back the transfer fund ABI, and that's what we're going to paste it here. Okay, so why they are in two line. So let's try to make it in one line. Okay, it's looking fine. Our prettier is working, which is formatting the entire code. So that's looks. So this is our fetch transfer contract function. So what I can do, so this is what we have here. Now we can simply copy it and all the way come here, and here we have this function. So before we do that, simply cut it and we have to paste it up. Okay, so I'll try to keep all the functionality together where we are interacting with the contract. Okay, so to come here and we have to paste it here, the function, and simply grab this code so we can arrange in proper way. So all the NFT marketplace fetching and connecting function be on top, and below that we're going to have this transfer. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And let me give this comment, and this will become transfer function. Okay, and now we have to copy and we have to paste it here. So simply copy this one and we have to pass here. So this is the function for the transfer fund. Okay, so hope so far everything is clear to all of you guys. You guys know what we are doing. Now we can scroll, come up here, and we're going to start working with the smart contract. Okay, for the transfer function. So here first what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a functionality which allowed the user to transfer funds from one account to other without involvement of the smart contract. Okay, so that's the thing we're going to do right now. So let's come here. We'll take this use state and we're going to take a couple of variables. So it will be a transaction count. So this will keep the track of how many transaction is happening. Now we have to take another one. This will call, let's say, transaction. It's gonna be an array which keep all the transaction which is coming from our smart contract. And we have to take one more variable, and this will call, let's say, loading. So we're going to change the state of our loader on the base of the transaction. Okay, because you guys know that when you do any transaction on the blockchain, it generally take a little bit time, and mainly on the Ethereum net. Okay, so it take time, so we have to show a loader so user can identify, okay, the process is going on. So initially it would be false. So that's the three data we have here. If we find that we need more, we can definitely come back here. So these are the things we have, and now we can start writing the functionality. So let's take a variable we'll call transfer ether. So this is the function will allow us to transfer ether. Okay, as the name suggests, it's going to be an async function, and it will receive couple of data. So it will receive the address, it will receive the ether, and it will receive the message. Remember, this is the exact data we have to pass in our smart contract. Okay, so that's the one, and we have to take this arrow and we have to wrap this inside a try and catch so we can get all the error. So we can simply log out the entire error. So that's basic thing. And now we have to make a connection with the smart contract, but before we do that, we have to check that there is an account. Okay, we allow user to only do this, call this function when they are connected with our application. Only that scenario they can able to call this function. So okay, so let's do this check and we'll call that entire logic inside this if statement. Okay, so here we can say const contract, and we have to make the connection with the contract. So what is the name we have given? So this is the contract name. Simply copy that and simply come here and paste. It's gonna be in a wait because we have to resolve the promise, so we can take the function out of that promise and we can call. Okay, so here we have the contract. Now let me show you the method which you can write to transfer fund without involvement of the smart contract, and this is really fun. So what we can do here, we can come here, and here we're going to take the variable called unformatted price. Okay, because we need price to do the transaction, and this price will come in the form of way something, so we have to convert into ether. Okay, so here there is a method called ether.utils.parse ether. Okay, so this will allow you to convert that amount into ether so you can do the transaction. So this is the unformatted price. We have formatted the price. Okay, and now here we're going to write the first function. So we have the price, and this is the first method we have. Sorry about for the spelling. Okay, so what I will do, I will simply take this await, and we're going to call this method which we have this Ethereum object. In that we have this method request. Nothing new to all of you guys. I have already shown you the entire Ethereum object in our browser. Okay, so if you haven't followed that, make sure to watch all the playlists you will find in a lot of detail. Okay, here we're going to define a couple of things. So first thing, we're going to define the method, that what method we want to call. Okay, so when we are fetching the accounts, we are calling get accounts. Okay, so in the same way we have method to do different things. Okay, so let's define the method. So we want to send ether. Okay, so we'll call this send transaction method, which are there. And here we're going to define a couple of parameters. Okay, so we'll call param, and it's going to be, first thing, we have to define the account from which we want to do the transaction. So current account where we want to do, and we have to define the gas fee. Okay, so sometime what will happen, that if you include this gas fee, it will still give you an error. Okay, I came across this error, so that's why I'm telling you. In such scenario, all you have to do is to simply clear your MetaMask history of that particular account, and you will good to go with that. Okay, or sometime you're getting too many errors, all you have to do to restart the application. So that will fix the problem. So here I can define this 5208. So that's the gas we have, and now we have to take the value. Okay, so here we're going to take the value as well, the amount we want to task, and in this we're going to pass this unformatted price dot hacks. Okay, so you always, when you get the data, it's come on in the form of big number. Okay, in that big number you will have this value, so we try to access that because that is actually the amount. Okay, so that's what we have. Okay, we have a problem. Simply cut this code and wrap into a object. Okay, take this and wrap it. Now it's gone. Okay, so this is the method. This is good to go to do the transfer of the fund from one account to the other account. Okay, so this will work fine. So to test this out, what we can do, we have no way to test this. We can write a test functionality in our hardhats to do the transaction and testing of this contract, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to simply start working and showing you in the real application. Okay, so let's come here, and we're going to start working on the page. Okay, we're going to build the page so we can do the testing very quickly. Okay, so simply copy the function and pass it here so we can receive in our transfer fund. Okay, so let me come here, go to the pages, and this is the pages we have created, transfer fund JS, and here we're going to start building this portion. So here we're going to import couple of things from React. So use state, use effect, and we have use context, and we need to import the image, so it's coming from there. And now we have to import the icons. So we have Ethereum icon, we need to use the user icon, and this coming from the React icon /fa. Okay, nothing new to all of you guys. Now we have to do a couple of internal imports. So first thing, we have to import the style file, and that's coming from the style, and that's called transfer funds. And now we're going to use couple of component from the account page. Okay, we have a form in the account page, and from there we're going to use couple of fields. Okay, so let's import that account page style sheet. So that's we'll call form style, and that's coming from, let's say, account page /form dot modules. Okay, so we're going to use couple of forms there, component. Okay, so that's the internal import. Now we have to import the, let's say, images, all the images, so which is we have inside this image folder. And by the way, all this source code is already provided to you, so you can must check the Discord server, the link in the description. From there you can easily able to get all this material. So that's the import file we have. Now we have to import the button and the loader, and that's coming from the component dot components /component index. Okay, so in this we have all the components, and that's what we are importing here. Now what we can do, we're going to call this comment and importing from contract data. Okay, so here we're going to import all the data which is coming from the contract, as the name suggests. So let's quickly import that. So we need to import the name. What is the name we have given to our context? Simply come here, and we can scroll all the way up, and okay, I forgot it over and over again. So NFT Marketplace context, so simply copy this one, and that's what we're going to call it. And here we're going to provide the directory that's coming from context, and that's called NFT Marketplace context. So that's the import of the context. And now we have to take couple of variables. So we'll come here, we'll take this const, and we're going to use this use context, and that we're going to pass the construct. And here we're going to define all the data we want to receive from the our context file. So the thing we want to receive is the current account. Okay, so let's come here and let's see. So we have this current account, that's what I need. So simply take that as well, and I am also need the function which allows to do the transfer, and call it here. So currently we are using this true variable. We're going to add a lot. Okay, so that's the one we have. Now we can start working on the JSX part. Okay, so let's do it quickly. Okay, and this JSX part and the CSS file I will go a little faster. Okay, because it's the same thing and same pattern we have to follow, so I'll go a little faster here. So before we do that, we have to take a couple of variables. So let's come here, we'll say transfer amount. It's going to be a string. We have to take that transfer account. We have to take that message, and we have to take one more use state, and we'll call it, let's say, read message. It's gonna be initially empty, and we have to take one more. This will say open box. Okay, so remember, when we are doing the transaction, we're getting a read message. You are clicking, a pop-up is coming, and you are reading the message, a node which is given by the person who's transferred the amount. Okay, so that's the variables which I have taken. Okay, so these are the couple of variables we have, and now we can start working on the JSX. We'll take a div. It will have a class called style, and we'll call transfer. Inside that, we'll have another div. It will have a class called transfer box. Inside that, we're going to take this h1 and we'll say transfer ether. Down below, we'll take this p, and it will have some lower and domain text. Simply remove it, make it short, so nice and cool. Here we'll come down, we're going to take another div. It will have a class called style dot transfer dash dash box. Okay, and we're going to take the another one. This will say transfer box dash left, and we'll replicate. This will come right. So in the left way, we're going to take this image. We have to define the source, we have to define the width. So width is going to be, let's say, 400, and height is going to be, let's say, 400. So not 40, 400. And here we have to define the alt text. So I just give image, you can give whatever you want. And now we have to give the image source. So we have the image, inside that we have this transfer image. So that's the image we have. Looking fine so far. Now come here, we can start working on the right section. We'll have this h2, and that will say now you can transfer ether. You can write whatever you want. We'll have a div, and this will call transfer box right, and this will say let's say info. Inside that, we're going to have this p. It will have a class called style transfer box right dash info desktop. Okay, so because I want to show you this only on desktop, and I want to hide it on a mobile device. Okay, so I will say, let's say account, and replicate it, and this will become mobile. So it will make sense why I'm doing it, because I want to keep the thing for the responsiveness as well. Okay, so that's purpose I'm doing it. So here we have the truth pack, and here we're going to display the amount. So we'll take the balance, and here I will go with this hardcode value. Okay, ether. So that looks pretty good. Now let's come here, we're going to take a comment. So transfer field. So now we have to add the functionality. So we'll take a div. It will have a class called style dot transfer box right box. Inside that, we'll have the, let's say, what we should have. Let's come here, go to this account form, and here we go to import couple of things. Okay, so the thing I want to import is this part. Okay, so again, I'm telling you, must check this previous videos, so you will find what we are doing. So this is what we have here. Now we're going to use this component. So although it's a small component, so I'm going to simply copy and paste. Simply copy this one, come back and simply paste twice. Okay, and remove this label because I don't want to display. Simply remove it from both this, and we're going to change this placeholder to, let's say, address, and this become, let's say, number, and this will become ETH. And now we have to change this icons. Okay, you can see Facebook we have. Now here we have imported the icon for user. Simply paste here, and now we have to take this Ethereum and simply paste here. So that's looking pretty cool. And we need one more thing. We need the field for taking the message. So we have the text area here as well. So what we can do, where it is, again we are back in the form, and we're going to copy this text area and come here and simply paste right below here. We're going to remove this label, and that's looking good. Here we're going to change the message to, let's say, your message in few words. Okay, and here we have to do a couple of changes. So here you can see we have this form style where we have the styling of the form. So we're going to use that. Simply copy that and make sure to replace wherever you are using the form component. Okay, so let's change that. So where we are, so here we are using this form component, so we're going to simply change this style to form style, replace it, and here we have to replace as well. So that looks pretty good. And what else I can add? So let's come here in the, here we're going to add the on change function because we need to get the data. So we'll say on change e, and here we're going to call the function we have created, our state. So we'll say what is the name we have? Transfer amount. So we'll call that transfer account, and it's going to be a target dot value. Okay, so that's the one we have. Simply copy and do the same thing for the amount. So this time we have to take the amount, so transfer amount, we'll call it here. Looking perfect. Simply copy this one and do the same thing for the text message. So again, I'm going a little faster here because these are the same thing you guys already know. Okay, so this time we have to get this set message, and we have to set the message. So let's replace this one, and we got the message. So that's the thing, looking fine. Now we can come here, and here we have to set the minimum ether transfer. Okay, so they can go below 1. Okay, and they have to send at least 1 ether. So let's set the minimum value to 1. You can add multiple value, but I just want 1. So that's the input field we have. Now we'll come down, we're going to say, let's say loading, and here we're going to display the loading state. So right now you can see we don't have the loader. So let's come back to the context, and we have to get our loader. So here we have this loading, and simply come here and simply come back and simply receive, and now we're going to build a condition on top of it. So if loader is true, then we want to do something. So we'll come here and we'll say ternary operator, we want to display this loader. If it's true, then otherwise we have to display this button, and this button will have a couple of properties. So button name, so we'll say transfer fund, and it will have the handle click function, and that we have to call the function. So remember which function we should have to call on it. So the function we have built, transfer ether, and in this function we have to send all the data which is required into this field. So we have the data, we have the, let's say, transfer account, we have the transfer amount, and we have the message. So these are the 3 data this function needs, and we are passing successfully. So that's the logic for the button we have. Here we are receiving that, and now to check that, let's simply console log out the message address, log out the ether, and log out the message itself, and do the one thing, simply comment out this function. Okay, so let's comment out so we can test it out. So before we test, let's complete this JSX. Okay, and then we can do that. So that's looking fine. Now we going to come down, it will have a class called style dot button. Okay, because we have to add a custom styling. And now we'll come here, we're going to take this, and here we're going to display the transaction history. Okay, so it's going to be a dynamic data. So we'll take the h1 and we'll say transaction box 1, and it will say transaction history. We can take the text, we'll add this lorem spam, so let's make it short. That looks cool. Now here we're going to take this div, it will have a class called style transfer dash box history. Okay, inside this we're going to display all the data. So let's take a demo data. Currently we don't have any data, so actually let's come up here and we have to take a demo data. So we'll say transaction, and here we're going to take this array, so let's random. So we're going to test this for demo 1, and now we're going to create a dynamic block. So transaction, and we're going to use this mac function, element I, it's going to be an instant return, and here we're going to build the JSX. So div, it will have a class called style dot, let's say, transfer box history dash item. It will also have a key I+1 unique, and in that we're going to take this, let's say, image. We have to define the source image dot, let's say, transfer ether. It will have a width to, let's say, 100, and height is going to be 100. Simple. Alt tag is going to be, let's say, image. You can type whatever you want. So that's the image field. Now we have to take the field for the data, so we're going to use this div. Inside that we'll have a class called transfer box, transfer dash box history item info, and that will have this p. Inside that we'll have this span, it will call transfer id, and here we're going to display the actual data. Right now we don't have, so let's do the hard code. H1 replicate it, and here we're going to change all these. So the first one is going to be, let's say, amount. This will become from, and this will become to. So right now we are doing with this demo data. Now we're going to take a button, and we have the button. We have to provide the name of the button, and let's say message, and it will have a handle click function, and in that we have to call this function. So the function we want to call it this. Actually, we want to call two function here. One for setting up the message of that transfer, and one for opening. Okay, so we're going to take this one and we'll say set, what is the name, set read. So what we have called here, set read message, and we'll say to element demo data. Okay, and the other function I want to call this set open box, and it will become, let's say, true. Okay, so these are the two function we are calling. So, and here we're going to have this custom class. We'll call it, let's say, read button. So this is very simple thing, nothing new to all of you guys. So that's the button is ready for all of us. Now let's come down. We have to create that pop-up model. Okay, so let's come here and we're going to take this dynamic block. We'll say box open box is false, then we want to simply hide it, don't need to display anything. But if it's true, then we have to display this component. So it will have a class style dot message box. Inside that it will have on click function as well, because when someone click on this, we want to close that model as well. So on the on click, we're going to add this function. Let's say set open box to false, and here we're going to take another div. It will have a class called message box dash box. Inside that we'll have this p. First we'll have this h1. It will have this call transaction message. You can design the way you like. Okay, I'm just going with a simple one. You can do it more complicated. You can take the data, you can display the account address, balance, all the data. Okay, but I'm just simply displaying the message. And here it will have the p. We'll say hey your message. So that's the demo data we have, and now we're going to style it quickly. Okay, so that's looking perfect. We have built all the JSX for this entire transfer fund page. Hope things are making sense to all of you guys, and now it's time to check whether everything's working or not. So let's simply come here and simply start the application. Type npm run dev, and we have to open on the 3000. So let's click on that, and here we are on the browser. We are getting this error. Okay, I know why it's happening. We have to wrap this two function in a bracket. So let's come here, let's do one thing. Simply come here, scroll all the way down, and here we are. Let's say here we are calling this two function. So we have to wrap this inside the bracket so we don't have an error. So let's do this, and now it's looking fine. You can see we have wrapped the function in the bracket, and now we can check. We won't have an error. Reload the browser, and things are looking fine. You can see everything is looking fine. Our images, our demo data, and this buttons, everything is looking fine. Now let's just quickly start styling this portion. Okay, so we can test that in a real way. So let's make it side by side so you guys can have a look at what we are styling exactly. Okay, let's come back to the style file and let's do it very quickly. So come back to the transfer JSX and let's start working on this. So let me grab the class which we have provided. It's a transfer, because I'm really bad with the spelling. Okay, so I'll say transfer width is going to be, let's say, 100%, and let's add the other properties. So margin block is going to be 2 RAM. Let's come here. Transfer box is going to be, width is going to be 80%. Margin 0 auto. Looks fine. So that's how it will look. You can see we are following the 80% structure. Let's come down. We're going to target box, and we'll say display is going to be grid. We'll say grid column 1 FR and 0.5 FR. Gap is going to 3 RAM. Let's take this media query so we can start making responding from the start, and we'll say 35 EM and copy that, and we have to say, let's say grid width is going to be 90%, and we have to copy this box grid template column 1 FR. So that's how it will look. Pretty good. Now let's come here. We have to take this transfer box h1, and we have to make the font size to 4 RAM, and line height is going to be 0 on a desktop. That's how it will look. Now we have to target the paragraph. We'll say width is going to be 60% on the desktop only. Okay, so now simply copy that, this two, and come here in the media query, and we have to do the changes. So 2, remove that one, and the paragraph is going to be 90. Okay, so that's looking fine. And we'll say transfer box left, and here we have this text align center. We'll have this display is going to be great. So that's looking fine. Now we'll target the box left h2, and font size is going to be 2 ram. Font width is going to be 700. Okay, these styles are not taking place. Simply copy and paste here in the media query. Let's have a look. So remove it and make it 1.5. Still this style is not applying. Why? Okay, nothing happening. So I think there is a problem in the class. Simply remove this one and come here and simply remove this as well. Okay, change this one to right, not left. Okay, change this to right, and now you can see it will work. Simply copy that, and you can see this is big. Now we have to make the change to 1.3 ram and remove this width. So that looks fine. Let's get target and the box right info, and we can say that border is going to be 1 pixel solid, and it will have our let's come back to the global CSS, and the color I want is this icon color. Simply paste here, and we have this box shadow is going to be having our box shadow. We need to have this border radius 0.5 ram. We need to have padding 1 ram, and width is going to be 90% on the desktop only, and grid template column is going to be 3 ram and 1 fr, 3 fr and 1 fr, sorry. So that's how it will look on a desktop. Let's do for the mobile phone. So let's come here, target that, and we'll say grid template column 1 fr. So that's pretty good, but we have some problem in the info box. It's not full 90% width. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, let's come here, target that right box, and we'll say width is going to be 90%. Simply copy that one and simply come here and paste in the media query, and we'll target width is going to be 100%. Still it's not taking place. Okay, not a big deal, we can easily make it. So that looks good. Simply cut this portion here, simply paste here and make it 100%. Okay, still not happening. Okay, not a big deal, let's keep working. We're gonna fix this one, and let's say target the button, and let's make it width is going to be 100%. Margin top is going to be 2 ram, and let's start working on the transfer box h1, and we'll say margin top is going to be 10 ram, so we'll have some space from the top. And now we have to target the transfer box history, and this will have a margin, let's say margin block, it's gonna be 5 ram. Display is going to be grid, and grid template column repeat 5 18 ram. Okay, so that's how it will look. Now make it gap is going to be 2 ram. Simply copy that, and now on the mobile device we want to do certain changes, so it will have grid template column 1 fr. Save it, and that's how it will look. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's come here, and we have to get the transfer box history. We have to get the items, and now we have to target that. So we'll say border 1 pixel solid, it will have our icon color. Now we'll take this border radius 1.5, box shadow is going to be var icon box shadow, and line height is 1, padding is going to be 1 ram, overflow is going to be hidden. So that looks pretty good. Okay, let's come here, we have to target the transfer box, and this is going to be transfer item info p. Okay, width is going to be, let's say 100%, so it will take the full width. Okay, that looks good. Now come down, we're going to target that transfer box history inform p span, and this will have the color is going to be our icon color. Margin is block is going to be, let's say 0.2 ram, and let's target that margin right is going to be 1 ram, so we'll have some space from the data and from the title. Okay, now that looks good. Now we have to target the transfer box right. Okay, right info mobile. So I want to hide there is 2 amount. Okay, so we want to hide the mobile one on the desktop, so let's make it display none. You can see right now we have only 1. Okay, now let's come here and make this read button and target that, make it, let's say at the padding is going to be 0.5 ram and 1 ram from left and right. So that looks pretty good, not a big deal, it's looking pretty awesome. Now we can come here, we can target the message box, and we'll say position is going to be fixed, insert 000, and we have to add the background color is going to be our main color. So let's come back and grab this and paste here. Now we have to take this color is going to be our icon color, and Z index on the highest number, so it will be on top of everything. Now we'll have to target the message box, and we have to say top is going to be 50%, left is going to be 50%, and transform translate -50% -50%, so it will become in the middle. Okay, so that's how it will look. Position is going to be absolute. So that's the setup we have here. Now we can come here and let's come back and target the, let's say, transaction box right info mobile. So it will be display on mobile phone, so display is going to be block, and we want to hide the desktop one. Okay, so this will become desktop, hide it to, what is, it's a desktop, let me check the class, yes it is, and we have to hide on the mobile device. Okay, display is going to be none. Okay, so far so good. You can guys can see that it's already looking responsive, looking perfect. Now let's come up here. Still we have the problem in the information box, so let's come here, let's try to fix this out. So here we have that, and that's how it will look on a desktop. You can see there is no problem, we have everything's looking perfect as we have seen in the demo. We have this, okay, we have this overflow, so we have to fix this one as well, and I know why it's happening. So let's come back here, and here we have to do the changes. So let's come up here. First thing we have to do is let's come back here, let's say yeah, this portion, right info, and here we have to do the changes. So we have to set the width to 100%. So right now you can see on the mobile device right now we don't have an issue, it's taking the full 90% width. Okay, and that's how it's looking fine. We have no overflow there, but still we have overflow on the desktop. So to fix that, all we have to do is where we are defining the width, so we here are come here in the main, and here we are defining the 18 RAM. So let's make it to 1FR, so it will adjust according to the size. You can see now it's looking perfect, and this images are small, we need to make it big. So let's come back here, and right now it's this is fine, but here we have this image are 100. Let's make it 200, so it will be a little bigger, and just reload the browser, and that looks pretty good. You can see we have this nice images looking perfect, and you can see you can click and you can open this message. So that's dynamic block is also working fine. Okay, so that's looking fine. Now let's do this mobile phone as well, and let's make it side by side so we can have a look what we are working on. So that's pretty good. Okay, so right now you can see we don't have the account, we have this demo balance. We're going to fill that portion as well. So what we can do, let's come here in the MetaMask, and as you can see this is what we have. Now simply just remove all the history here from here. Okay, remove the history so we can do the transaction reset. Okay, so whenever any transaction get failed, make sure you have to reset the MetaMask. So this is the problem they have in their MetaMask. So whenever you switch your account, you get an error most of the time. So now we have to come here, and here we're going to do a couple of things. So here we have this current accounts, because we are logged into this application, so we can display the address. So here we're going to display the address of the current user, or we can use this split method. So I don't want to display the entire address. Actually I remember that here we have this two block, one for desktop and one for mobile phone, so we don't need to split in a mobile desktop. I just go in that way, but we do have to split on the mobile device. Okay, so we have to slice it down, and I just want to make it to 15 characters from start to end, and dot dot. If you reload the browser, and if you reload that, here you will come, and here you can see we got the address. So it's looking fine. We have the dynamic address of the users. Now let's make it to 25. It will be a little bigger. Just wait, it's looking good. Now we can make it to let's say 30. That looks perfect. I'll go with 30. Okay, this address is 42 characters, but I want to display only 30 characters. Okay, now let's come here. We have this balance here, so let's come back here, and here you can see copy this address number 3, because in this we're going to transfer the fund. So I just try to keep it here address, so I don't need to open MetaMask over and over again to get the address. Okay, so all the funds I'm going to transfer to the account number 3, so I'll keep the account address, and let's come here and let's go back to the account number 2. From this is the account we're going to transfer the funds. So let me clear my history once more time, because I have switched my account, so I have to clear it and reload the browser. So just wait, that looks good, no problem we have here. Now simply close all these files, and now we can come here, and now we can able to get this data. So right now you can see we are getting this 3 data from this function, and we are simply logging out in the console. and here we are checking if the account is exists, then only call this function. Okay, so the entire logic is working fine. Now we can paste the account, paste the amount, and we're going to paste this message. Hit enter. You can see we got the address, amount, and the message. So it's looking fine. We have no problem in this. Looking awesome. So now we're going to open this one, price, and we have to open this method which allow us to transfer the funds without involvement of the smart contract. Okay, so whenever this transaction will happen, there is no way to get the data. Okay, so we can display in our funded application because we are not interacting with the smart contract. This will allow us to do the transfer of the fund, but we're not able to get the data. Or you can check this transaction on Etherscan or when you have connected any test network. Okay, although we are doing on the locally, so you can't test that as well. So that's allow us to do the transfer, and it will pretty work. Simply reload the browser, and now we can test the functionality we have written here. So let's open the terminal, and looking fine. Now simply paste here, and that's the address, that's the amount. It's pretty high, 43343, and here we're going to type this message. Simply click on this fund, transfer fund, and nothing happens. Simply reload the browser. Sometime it happen, sometime you have to reload the browser if the function is not triggering, and sometime you get any kind of error. Make sure to restart the application and clear MetaMask because the code is fine. So let's come here. We're going to paste the address. We're going to type the amount which you want to transfer. So we want to transfer through 234 ethers, and here we have to type the message. So let's TD, and here you can see MetaMask is open, and here you can able to find all the data. So right now you can see this is the amount we want to transfer, gas, and this time it will take to make this transaction. So simply you can see all the data you will find. Simply click on this confirm and just wait. This will take a little bit time because right now we have no way to tell the user that the transaction is happening in the background. Okay, so let's come here. You will not get no data. If you click on this MetaMask, here you will see the transaction is got successful, and we have successfully sent the money from this account to that third account. Okay, if we got deducted, and if you click on that, here we'll find all the data, the new ones, amount, gas limit, gas use, gas base, priority, everything you will find right up here. So things are looking good. Okay, all the data you will find able. Simply come here, and what you can do, simply go back to the account number 3. You can see this is the balance what we have here. Okay, and now we can do simply paste one, do the transfer one more time, hit enter, and still working fine. Okay, you can send this amount to the same account and working fine. If you click on this MetaMask, you can see the transaction is in processing. You can see this is the transaction is processing. So just wait. Once we get the confirmation, the balance would be deducted, and here you can see we have successfully done the transaction and we have deducted our balance. So looking fine, everything is looking fine, and now we can start working on the balance. We have to display the user current balance so they can able to transfer that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. For that, we have to take a variable and we'll call it, let's say, what should we call? Write down in the comment section, but I will go with this account balance, and it's going to be a string, and we'll come back here. So this is the function we have. Simply cut this function. Actually, I want this balance globally, so I can use other places. So I can paste here as well. I can paste here on top, so I can use in this function. Okay, check wallet connected. Okay, and here we're going to do the check of the balance. So what I can do here, I will take this variable and take a provider. Okay, so to get the balance, we have to get a provider, and we're going to use this ether dot parse provider and web3 provider. In that, we have to take this window Ethereum object. This is the provider we have, and now we're going to use that provider to get the balance. So get balance, we have to call our provider, and we have to call this get balance, and in that we have to pass the account. So we have to take the first account, so the accounts which is the array, and we have to get the first account, nothing new. Here we're going to take that, and now we have to convert that balance because I ran into an error, because there is a concept in Solidity on Ethereum virtual machine that overflow and underflow. I hope you guys are familiar with this. So I ran into this problem, and I was wondering that why this problem is happening. So this is the function you have to use, ether utils, and you have to use this format ether. So there is a lot of method, but this will allow us to format the data into ether so we can do the transaction. Otherwise you will have overflow problem. Okay, and then we have to pass the amount. So that's looking fine, and now we have to set the amount to the account balance, and we have to simply copy and pass the function here, so we can receive in our transaction function, simply receive here, and now we can display that data. Simply replace this and looking fine. So reload the browser. Okay, reload the browser, and here you can see we got the data 933 point. Okay, so we got the data here, looking perfect. Looking perfect. Simply copy the address and let's do the transaction. So simply paste here, and here I'm going to type this high value 655, and I will type the message. Okay, simply type the message and here enter. Just wait, just keep the price in mind, and you can see 655 amount we are on transfer. Hit enter and come here in the MetaMask. You can see the transaction is pending. Currently it's processing, and here we have done the transaction. We have 8678. That's amount in our MetaMask. If you reload the browser, and here you will have that. Okay, so right now we are doing manually reloading of the browser, but we're going to make it automatic. Okay, so right now you can see we have the exact balance here, looking fine. You can see this is absolutely working fine. So that's the functionality. We have written all of these, and that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. This video is already getting very long. Okay, so I hope whatever we have covered so far, it making sense. So we have covered the smart contract, we have built the template, we have styled the template, and we have seen the very first method which we can use to transfer the fund. Okay, so if you don't want to create, if you don't want to involve any smart contract for transferring or for the simple functionality, you can go with this. But it's always good that you should have smart contract which control most of your application, and that is the main funda of Web 3.0. Okay, which is controlled by contract, not by a server or individual authority. Okay, so in the next video we're going to connect the smart contract, and we're going to store all the data into a smart contract. And in the third part I will show you the three important methods in Solidity which allow you to do the transfer of the funds, and which one should you pick so you can prevent from hacking, re-entrancy attack. So that's what we're going to cover in the next video. So hope you have found this video valuable. If you have any question, any doubt, do leave in the comment section, and this code is already provided to you. Make sure to join the description. There is a link in the description, and ask all your query. If you have any problem, any error in your code, ask the in the Discord server. We have couple of members, they will help you. We have to try to help each other. If you come across any problem someone is having, so make sure to answer that as well. So, okay, in this way we can able to build community and help each other. So that's the only thing I want to cover. Hope you have enjoyed this project, and with that said, let's move to the next video, and that we're going to interact with the smart contract. So have a wonderful day.